My ex who cheated on me suffered from karma and I don't know how to feel about it. Ick if this is the right place to write about this, but I want some insights or something from someone external. I dated this girl for a year, some 6 months back. It was the most perfect relationship I ever had. Most of it was long distance, but it was so good. The connection we had was so amazing, we had no toxicity, we spent a lot of time together online, and in short, everything was great. We had plans to move in together once her internship started in a new city. I had my relatives there, so I could also make it work. Soon she starts this job in the new town, and a friend from her university joins there too. We decided I would come once she found a place for us to stay. This friend from her college was a playboy kinda dude who used drugs and stuff a lot. She didn't like him much and told me he had a girlfriend, so I wasn't much. She slowly started avoiding me. I soon went there as I couldn't control my anxiety attacks as she wasn't responding to me like she used to and often ignored me. I find out she's cheating on me with him and also had moved in with him. She tries to lie and cover up by saying she was sexually assaulted and blackmailed, at which point I was going to beat the crap out of him, and I also had some buddies to help me with that. One leads to another, and I find that everything was done willingly, and I'm left broken. She immediately ghosts me, doesn't even apologize. I tried to contact her in many ways just to get closure or something, but I am blocked everywhere. Without any choice, I finally reached her parents and tell the situation, also about the boy she had started seeing. They first seem like they understand, then later just ghosts me too. I stalked her for some time, trying to get closure, only to see her happy with this new guy doing everything we had planned for months. I'm left shattered. I fell into depression. I failed some of my courses, and I took a significant responsible position at my university, which I had taken due to her compulsion and support. Also, my mom had started a disease, and although it wasn't serious, everything together worsened my mental health. I was a regular gym guy bulking up, but soon I lost almost 7 kilograms in 2 weeks. Not to mention the panic attacks and sleep deprivations. I went to therapy, sometimes drank, smoked pot, went out a lot, went on trips, met new people in new places, and kept myself busy. Slowly, I started to heal. I thought I would never get over it. At one point, I thought of ending it, but slowly I recovered. It took me a lot of time to be happy again, maybe 4 months. But I put in the effort for that. I knew I had people who believed in me and stood by me when all this happened. I owed it to them. I casually started dating too. I had trust and self-esteem issues from the cheating, which I was slowly working on. At some point, she had contacted me saying sorry for what she did, but again lied about a few other things. This again led to me contacting her drug addict boyfriend and again led to me getting embarrassed and broken. I vowed I would never contact her again and started purely focusing on myself. I was getting bulked and fit, did my responsibilities at university well, got my grades decent, and had a few good hookups, which boosted my confidence back. Everything seemed to get back to normal. Deep down though, I always had that void. Also, I felt she deserved karma, but I didn't care at this point. Over the past few months, she started trying to contact me, but in subtle ways, never directly. I ignored. But yesterday, she finally messaged me from a fake profile that she wanted to talk and needed help. In the last goodbye message I wrote to her, I told her I would help her whenever she wanted help. I wrote this when I was still in love with her. But anyway, asked her to call. She breaks down and says a lot of things. Apparently, the guy turned out to be not the person she imagined. Oh, what a surprise. He started using hard drugs and often assaulted her physically and mentally. Her family was against her, she couldn't study and started having panic attacks and stuff. This guy ignores her, manipulates her, and does what he wants. He also started using cocaine regularly and has huge mood swings where he sometimes gets aggressive with her. She adjusted to the maximum but had reached her breaking point. She had no friends left who were ready to listen to her, as those who knew about our relationship ignored her, and the others thought she was very happy in this relationship as this guy framed it on social media like that. Her parents also weren't ready to understand, and she was basically alone and miserable. I left my frustrations out between these conversations and said these are the same things you did to me. She knew that and said she was getting the karma for what she had done to me. Part of me wanted to say you get what you deserve and cut the phone off. But I understood she was at a very low point. She had tried self-harming 2 months ago, and I didn't want to push her. Some months back, it might have joyed me to see her present state, but seeing it now, what to feel. I know what it feels like, treated with no respect and mentally abused. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, it can fuck up your life. If I didn't have my friends and family to support me back then, I might have done something stupid. Everyone might say she deserves it or whatever, but she was once a person I cared about and loved so much. It hurts me to see her like this, and part of me finds it hard to believe whatever she's saying might be true. What to do, she deserves some karma and pain, but I don't think no one deserves to be physically assaulted or abused. At one point, this guy even said to her to go die or leave if she wanted. But she is finding it hard to do so. I have read how people in toxic and abusive relationships find it hard to leave it. She had her exam now, and I said some stuff to calm her down. She asked if she could still talk with me. I said she could. But IDK what to do or say in this situation, it's more than fucked up what she's facing, and she's scared of him. I don't intend to ever get back with her ever again, but I feel I should help her in this situation. Things might have been different if I had handled him back then, but the past is done. How to get her out of this situation, or even if I should consider helping her. TLDR, my ex, who cheated and left me for someone else, finds herself in an abusive relationship and realizes the mistake she made. If I should help her or how to get her out of the situation. Edit/update. Firstly, I want to say thanks to all the replies. I have read all and understood what needs to be done. When I mentioned stalking and reaching out, I meant checking up her social media and seeing what she's up to. Even that isn't accepted behavior IG, but my mental state right after being cheated was bad. I never went behind her or followed her. This happened months ago and I stayed in no contact until she reached out the day before. Also, I had some distant friends who knew this guy and warned me about him back then. That's the reason I told her parents about him. I was concerned then, and it isn't a surprise what I predicted about him came to be true only. Update 2, I talked with her the second day ready to say I wanted to cut all ties, but the dude somehow got to know she contacted me and has beaten her up. I didn't believe her initially and had to see her photos to understand it's pretty fucked up. I informed her parents through a friend about the situation as I didn't want to get involved further. We talked finally and I wished her best. I have cut all ties with her. I thank you guys for the comments, although some were a bit harsh. Sometimes when things happen in real it's hard to make decisions easily. It's not that easy like typing in comments, but again all those helped me. Thanks and cheers! I split with my ex after years of her having affairs on me, but I forgave her at the time. Hi all. I, 28M, am doing my best to keep a level head and not do anything rash. The massively condensed story is that I was engaged to a girl, 27F, engagement in 2020, 8-year-long relationship, whom I thought was absolutely perfect in every way. Shortly after COVID started, she had an affair on me when I was medically incapacitated, separate medical issue that had me extra depressed due to feeling handicapped for almost 8 months. I had no idea in the moment, and said affair lasted almost a full year until the affair partner dropped her for another woman. The story of how I found out is wild, and it may be possible I never would have known if I didn't connect dots. I'm too frustrated to expand on this for this post. I have never experienced pain like that heartbreak, and my whole world turned upside down. I was devastated. My concept of trust was completely and totally broken. I truly wondered how anyone could be so evil to do what she had done to me. I was prepared to leave. She begged me for forgiveness, and after 2 nights of thinking about whether I respect myself, or if I love her more than I respect myself, I decided to stay. Both of her parents died when she was a child. It isn't an excuse, but I told myself that if I wanted to be a good man, I could try to make it work. The following year was not very productive. I made her go to therapy, and in hindsight, should have made us do couples therapy. Marriage delayed for this reason. I had no idea that she was talking badly about me to all of her friends at the time, but lo and behold, about a year later, I discovered that she was cheating on me again. I know what you are all thinking, and yes, I know I am an idiot, I am a loser, I am stupid, I know all of those things. I felt humiliated, used, and could have avoided it all if I left the first time. I spent a month on my own outside of the apartment and convinced myself that, because I didn't try couples therapy, there was more I could do. I admit that I did work a lot during COVID, and my ex was lonely. I know that the first year post-affair, instead of being fully accepting, I would make comments out of spite, I would hold it over her head. My hatred was mixing with my attempts to reestablish our relationship. I found every reason why I wasn't a good enough partner, and made a commitment. I knew it was insane, it was crazy, but I wanted to truly be a good man, and try, this time, to do the rebuilding the right way. Only showing love, never making snide remarks, trying to take initiative with dates and gifts, being super communicative about my needs and everything I personally had done wrong. I got a list from her about the things she felt were insufficient in the relationship, and I worked on every single one of them to have long-term changes. I honest to God feel like I threw my ego, humiliation, and brain out the door, and was the best partner anyone could have asked for in the last year. I rejected a job opportunity that would have put my work-life balance out of schedule. I did 90% of the cooking and cleaning. I went to therapy on my own, and tried to get my ex to communicate with me more, to do couples therapy. I begged her to tell me the truth and come to me openly, that I would have a therapist act as a mediator if she could not, etc., etc. I got new hobbies to spend time with her. I would take her to get constant pedicures and manicures to show initiation, to try and make her feel prettier. I would try constantly to reflect on every mistake I knew I made, and make a reasonable effort to show long-term improvement. I took my fitness super seriously again and always tried to console my partner when she told me how she didn't feel beautiful because of her weight gain. Recently, I learned that, in my month-long absence, when I was reevaluating my life, my ex was telling her friends that I was an abuser, that I got mad because she DM'd a guy, and to this day, it never ended. Reddit, I know. I am fucking stupid. I am an absolute fucking loser. I have never shared what happened to me to anyone except my brother after the first affair, and after the second instance of cheating that I discovered, I shared it with 2 friends. I would tell them that I don't believe my ex was a bad person, I know there were things I could do better, etc. No one in my circle would ever dare to speak ill about my ex because I would defend her even in my darkest moments. I failed a suicide attempt in that month-long period. My ex and I recently split, and it was because I was tipped off from a friend of hers that decided to have a conscience that my ex was planning on leaving. The leaving is not an issue. I know that anyone can leave for any reason, and I respect it. But I felt fucking even more humiliated because, after a year of me pouring my heart out, pushing my ego aside, to try and pamper a woman who had multiple affairs on me, with belief that only an environment of love could truly fix this relationship, I didn't care that she was leaving. What I cared was how she didn't even have the gall to tell me directly. I confronted her about it on my own. I want to reiterate that I understand I am the world's stupidest fucking person. I spent thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours of my time, years of my life, and I could have ended this the first time, almost 2 years ago, when I found out the first time. My ex wants to maintain a friendly relationship, but I truly believe, at this point, it is just because she doesn't want her friends and family, let alone others, to know what she did to me. I have held it in for so long. I went to therapy. There are exactly 3 people who I told, who will carry it to the grave. I truly believe that unless my ex feels accountable for her actions, she will never change. It is hard to do nothing and be successful, as the greatest revenge, because I know for a fact that her friends badmouth me, call me names, and it makes me want to pull my hair out because I did nothing to deserve the slander. This city is relatively small. I have an extensive library of screenshots, texts, photos, the whole 9 yards that would absolutely devastate my ex if it was publicized. I wouldn't need to say a single word. It wouldn't be my word versus hers, it would simply be her words versus the evidence. I feel like I need to share the intimate details with her remaining family and maybe her friends. Remember, parents died when she was young. I feel as though if they know, she will feel a fraction of what I felt, knowing that her secret is out. I could go nuclear revenge, send it to her boss, send it to every friend who talked shit about me, post it to her socials in the middle of the night, but I just don't know if that is what my conscience, despite all of this, would allow me to do. I will be moving out in a few days, with a new job, into a new area, to start my life anew. I am learning to respect myself and to move on. What should I do, Reddit? Do I keep these humiliating experiences to myself? Of course, restart therapy, but do I not publicize it, despite knowing I'm being called an abuser by people who know nothing about what I have been through? Despite knowing her family thinks I am the cause for the lack of movement with said engagement? It honestly hurts. I feel like I have been stabbed in the back so many times, but every time, I cleaned the blade off and tried to take care of the person who stabbed me. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. Once again, I know that I am a bitch, a loser, a cuckboy, a fucking idiot, all of those things. I hope no one ever has to go through the pain of what I went through. And for anyone who recently discovered their partner cheating on them, just leave. Don't try to fix it. I don't want you to ever be as much of a mess as I am. Leave, respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, no one ever will. I didn't respect myself, and I paid the fucking price.